Good morning, everybody. Everything new under the sun. Well, you look at the news today, and you can't help but see the four horsemen of the apocalypse getting ready to ride. I don't think we've seen anything yet. I think it gets far worse than this, but I think we can all agree that it is certainly queued up, ready to go, and indeed, I think a lot of these processes have started. The four horsemen of the apocalypse are in the book of Revelation chapter 6 specifically. And they each bring their own set of troubles to the world. Revelation 6:2 has the white horse. And that horse has a bow, it's given a crown, and it's going out to conquer people, conquer nations, maybe conquer politically. The second seal is the red horse in Revelation 6:4. And with that horse, peace is removed from the world, violence increases, and the sword comes out. And so you see violence, bloodshed, uprisings, upheaval. The third seal then is the black horse, Revelation 5:6. And with it comes economic collapse, effectively, a set of balance scales, which refers to the weighing and measuring of products and services. Huge inflation. However, the oil and the wine are spared. And we talked about the literal and spiritual significance of the oil and wine being spared. But I think suffice it to say, the rich people probably aren't going to be affected too much. It's going to be all the peons, you and I, that will be affected by that. And again, we ain't seen nothing yet as it relates to any of these. We see a start of this. We see kind of the warming up phase of the four horsemen getting ready to ride. But I don't think we've seen the full extent of this yet. The fourth seal, the pale horse, Revelation chapter 6, verse 8, death has Hades with them, a quarter of the earth killed with sword, famine, death, and beasts. This is the ultimate end of kind of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. This a large number of people being killed, at least control over a quarter of the earth, and people killed with sword, famine, and with all sorts of death, and even the beasts of the field joining in here. And so we're in for a lot of things that are coming. But I think we see the startup, the warm up of all this, all these things coming. In Europe, Russia is really controlling the situation now in terms of the world sanctions against Russia, but Russia retaliating, saying, you know what, we have pretty much all the fuel that you guys use in Europe. So if you want to put sanctions on us, we're going to force you to pay in our ruble instead of U.S. dollars or something else. For European gas buyers fold to Russian demands, pay for gas in rubles. Why? Well, because they're desperate, and Russia is calling the shots now. I think the world sanctions are backfiring. European gas buyers have already paid for supplies in rubles as Russia demanded, even as further cutoffs if others refuse the Kremlin's requirement. So this is making money for Russia. This is increasing the value of the Russian ruble, which is helping their economy. This is giving control to Russia, and Russia knew they had it. The U.S. is sitting pretty right now, declaring and demanding that the rest of the world implement these sanctions. Meanwhile, the U.S. is not really being affected by this. And so I think it's a bit rich for the U.S. to be saying, sanction Russia and be part of this. Meanwhile, they're not really being too affected by this. But I think what's affecting the United States is China and the cutoff of the supply chain. And I think that's why there's a lockdown in Shanghai right now. It doesn't make sense that they're still going after zero COVID policy. I think the greater reason and the dual purpose features of locking down Shanghai, the port city, is that you really pinch United States, who is leading a proxy war against Russia. You look at these fires in Russia and then the U.S., it looks like they're battling against each other with cyber attacks, causing these fires tit for tat almost. There's too many fires to be coincidence at this point. Chronic shortages of a few items now will evolve into chronic shortages of hundreds of products later in 2022. Are you having trouble finding products, electronics especially? Orders being delayed off Amazon and products just not coming in. I ordered a ham radio and it is back ordered. Supposed to be here mid-May. I've been waiting 2-3 weeks now already for it, and no sign of it. I don't know when it's coming. I think it's shipping straight from Japan. Maybe it's coming through China or something. It is a made in Japan radio, but there's shortages, and the place I purchased it from has no idea when they're going to get it. Their ETA is, they think mid-May. But there's things that you just won't be able to buy anymore. Even you go to the grocery store, variety of specific items is decreasing. Again, I noticed that the cereal shelves were empty of any healthy choices, healthy cereals. All that was left was complete sugar cereals, and I guess no one's buying them. But there's empty spots where any sort of healthy cereal existed. So there's some strange stuff happening. I've said it before. If you need to get anything, electronics or products off Amazon or whatever, filters for your furnace, oils, filters for your car, any disposable or any item that you're gonna need for for your house, for electronics, or replacement electronics for various things, maybe hard drives, RAM, even keyboards and mice. These things that kind of wear out after a certain period of time. If you need them, now may be the time to get them, because you may not be able to get them in the near future. What we have witnessed so far is just the beginning of the story, says the article. The global response to the COVID pandemic in 2021 created the most epic supply chain crisis in modern times, and now black swan events such as the war in Ukraine and bird flu pandemic are making that supply chain even worse. And yes, and I said it before, 2022 doesn't get better, it gets worse from here. Bible prophecy is happening. We are entering in, I believe, to the 7-year period, and it gets worse. To where we get to the brink of war effectively as it relates to the supply chain. We haven't seen anything yet, folks. If you think you're seeing bad times and then bad things happening, again, we ain't seen nothing yet. When the four horsemen ride, we will know it. It will be catastrophe. This is Zero Hedge. Poland confirms Russia to halt all gas delivery Wednesday if payment not settled in rubles. Gazprom's move to completely shut off supplies from Poland is yet another sign of Russia's politicization of existing agreements. Not the United States politicizing all trade with Russia. And it will only accelerate European efforts to move away from Russian energy. And so you wait until winter comes, and this is dragging out. The war in Russia and Ukraine is not going anywhere. This is going to drag out into fall period for sure, when people really start needing gas for heating, home heating. And that's where we're going to see the emergency. I think this all really comes into focus during the fall period, again, when people are hunkering down for winter, cold seasons, etc. UK backs the right of Ukraine to attack Russian territory. Kremlin warns London of proportional response. The UK's Armed Forces Minister said in Tuesday radio interview that it is completely legitimate for Ukraine to strike Russian territory after allegations out of the Kremlin earlier this month that the Ukrainians have on a couple of occasions done just that in cross-border incidents. Maybe the fires that we're seeing at the Russian research facility, the Russian, I think it was a massive chemical facility and plant. And so this is increasing, this war, slowly, and it's spreading, and there's more proxy wars. There's basically a de facto known out in the open proxy war at this point between Russia and the U.S. You are in World War III. What a World War III looks like now, which is proxy war. No one wants to get into conventional war, bullets and bombs, but we're seeing a proxy war economically. And that's kind of always how I said it would be. I've always thought World War III would be an economic warfare, because you don't need to fire weapons anymore. All you need to do is choke off the enemy, starve them out, whatever it may be, freeze them out, and that's exactly what Russia's going to do in Ukraine and all the other countries that are going against it. They're going to freeze them out. They're going to limit their gas supplies. When you feed the countries and control all the energy input to those countries, well, you can then control their politics, control their countries, and starve them out, freeze them out if you need to. So this doesn't stop, and it only gets worse. So like I said, if you need to buy anything, you stock up now. Food, water, and components, extra filters, things on your vehicles and in your house that need to be replaced every 6 months, like all those filters and things. Those are things to be getting. If you need any electronics, you need any batteries, get your batteries now. These things will go up significantly. The price, I believe, of Amazon shipments is going to go up. I think all the sellers, all the stores are going to get a 5% increase in shipping costs for Amazon, because all the shipping costs are increasing with the supply chain disruption, etc. You're going to see more and more delays in products, especially if you're buying them from overseas. So if you buy something now and expect it to get it immediately, you may not get it in time for whatever you need it for. So it's a good time actually to start buying local and going to local stores who have things on shelves. This is a turning point. So be prepared, folks. And I can't stress that enough. And actually, it was my sister that found out that exactly. She purchased some long-term storage food from the United States, and it's been delayed. She doesn't know exactly when it's come. It's been like 6 weeks or something. And even from the U.S., shipping is delayed, and so all the supply chains are breaking down, and they will continue to break down. There's no end in sight to this, to be honest, at this point, and it gets worse. So thanks for watching. We'll leave it there, and I do see all your comments on the Rapture video. I'm reading them all. Very interesting comments, and I may have some response to them. But anyways, have a good day, folks, and we'll see you in the next video.